Boom, boom, ba-dum, 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 boom, ba-dum, 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 boom, ba-dum, ba-dum, wah, wah,
Wah,
boom, boom,
wah.
oh, what happened?
Hello, everybody. My name is Bob. Welcome to Tabletop Bob. I'll be your dungeon master for tonight for season 2 of Strahd. We're here, everybody. The premiere. Excited?
Oh, yes.
Maybe you're more
Yes.
scared. Hmm.
I'm
I am a little scared, actually.
Yeah. And thank you, Stefano, for that beautiful rendition of the old intro music. I do miss it a little bit, but we've been using the new intro, which you saw just now, the Beholder, intro. That's what we're using for the intros now. So get used to it. The old one's gone, dead. Won't be
I
coming
just
back
wanted to
like
give it a
Strahd.
proper burial.
Thank you, appreciate it. We do hear the outro though. Still, I do keep it in the outro. It's just a different part of the song. So
Da, na, 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 na. Wow, 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 down.
you're so good at that. That's a talent. That's like what? It's like beatboxing or something. It's you're your own instrument.
I'm terrible.
That's
Thank
what it
you.
is. We've of course got Tim, Andrew, Michelle, Stefano, and Jordan of Flutes Loot fame rejoining us, reprising their roles from season 1. So happy to have everybody back. How have you all been? It's been almost 4 months since we played last. How you been?
Been good.
good.
Good. We'll
Staying
start with
busy.
Jordan. We'll start with Jordan a little bit because Jordan, obviously, you also have a YouTube channel. Have you been? What's going on Flutes Loot and the website and what's going on?
Yeah, so I once again have gotten pretty busy as I am shopping for a house and planning to have my tonsils removed from my head.
You
And
don't need
so
those.
I've been busy, but overall, just living that dad life, doing improv shows, and running a really fun D&D campaign that I really want to make some articles and videos about, but I just haven't got around to them in a few months. But yeah, I did have that video about player agency that was
Hmm.
very well received a few months ago.
Excellent. Love to hear it. And Andrew, how was the milk?
Well, I just had a very horrible experience, everyone. My
Yeah.
tea
Uh-oh.
tasted a bit cheesy, and I thought I would sniff the milk, and I sniffed the milk, and it was not good.
That's what you
So I
meant
have to
by
drink
sniffing the milk.
yep,
Oh,
half a
got
cup
it.
of cheesy tea.
Wow.
Where my
Okay.
stomach is concerned.
Oh no. For those of you who don't know, I posted it in the live chat that we were almost on. Just had to sniff the milk. I had no idea what it meant. I thought it was some British sort of term, a slang. Had no idea.
No, it's literally.
Wow. Is that common to put milk in tea? Do British people do that typically?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought everybody did that.
I did it too. I don't know about you all, but I know some people they like to have their tea just as it is.
I
Like
was at a hockey
Picard.
game in England one time. In order to insult the other team's goalie, we said your mom makes milky tea. So I thought it was a rude thing to do.
Well,
That's
Andrew, you got to let
could be
us
a
know. I mean,
compliment.
I thought it was funny. I got a kick out
fair
of it.
enough. Fair enough. But Andrew, everybody, how was your summer? We feel like it's been a lifetime ago since we played. It's almost spooky season. It's 2 weeks away from Halloween. We're back here with Curse of Strahd. What have we been up to in the last few months? We'll start with someone who had minor changes in their life. Tim. Tim.
Hey, everybody, good to be back on the stream. And you'll be seeing a lot of me this fall. Over the summer, I went back to Camp Crystal Lake. Survived another slasher summer. Was good. And I've since moved up to Boston. So you can see if you pay close attention to the background of my videos, and Bob's various videos here, I once again moved states. Went out in Massachusetts and Boston. So that's been my time. Still teaching, but somewhere else.
Nice. Good to have you back. And of course, you were actually on the channel not too long ago for In Search of the Unknown. So you haven't been too far removed.
No, I mean, no matter where I move in the world, if I'm at Red Lobster or in Boston or anywhere else, I'll always end up on Tabletop Pub. I don't stray far.
Love you, Tim. Love you. Let's go to Stefano. Stefano, what's been up with you?
Uh, well, I had my kids theater program that I ran over the summer. Very successful.
What'd you run? versus Strahd?
I always do one of these things where it's a bunch of different plays, scenes and songs for different plays that carry a theme, and then there's a running story in between it with kind of storyline characters. So kids get to originate characters for the first time, and they also get to play classic musical theater characters as well.
Nice. Strahd on ice?
Uh, maybe next summer,
Okay. That's awesome, though.
maybe sooner.
How long do you have to do that? That seems like a pretty big task to coordinate with all the kids. And they're
So
middle-aged kids? Or...
it's a 2-week program.
Oh, wow. Jeez,
Yeah,
that's
we put
quick.
on it was like 65 minutes, I think, the performance. So we put on a 65-minute performance in 2 weeks.
Damn.
It's a
how
real
old are
cram
these kids?
session. We are friends and family and the like for 2 weeks.
Wow. How
Yep.
old?
The youngest are going into 3rd grade and the oldest are going into 9th grade. And I separate everything based on age. So
Wow.
the younger kids might do like Lost Boys and Peter Pan, and the older kids might do something from Les Mis.
Jeez. Wow. From Peter Pan to Les Mis. Unbelievable.
Well, those are from two different shows because
Oh.
those you can't connect with the theme at all.
I was going to say. All right, good. That's awesome. Michelle, what about you? What have you been up to this summer?
Well, not much, honestly, but I would say that the highlight of my summer is probably participating in a very cool series that recently started right here on Tabletop Bob.
What?
For what? For those of you who have been following along, we just wrapped up chapter 1 of Vecna. Yeah, really fun, very cool. I got to play one of my favorite characters, Bear. Yeah, and now this week we're on to chapter 2. So I won't be there anymore.
That's right.
But yes, excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, so if you didn't quite catch what Michelle was putting down there, it's basically a module, Vecna Eve of Ruin, that we have tweaked, modified heavily. It's going to include many characters from Tabletop Bob, the Bobverse. I don't know what we're going to have to call it, but the Bob multiverse. And there's going to be 33 characters reprised in total in this multiverse spanning campaign. And we're following the book as well. It's not going to be like nothing like it, but we definitely had to heavily modify it just because of the nature of what we're doing. But it's kind of like the Avengers meets D&D. It's great. It's been so much fun. And no spoilers. I won't tell you who's going to be on the channel this week in this chapter, but some fan favorites, I would say. We'll see. And then Andrew, what have you been up to other than sniffing milk?
Well, I went back to England, which I do every August.
The
I
mother
actually went on a-
country.
I actually went on a Disney cruise with my kids to Spain, which was kind of interesting. They treat you well on those cruises. I found
Disney
out.
cruises.
Disney in Spain?
It was to Spain. It was very surreal. You're in England, then you're in America in Disney World on a boat, and then you're in Spain, and then you're on Disney World, and then you're back in England.
Wow.
Like a day.
Wow.
It's kind of surreal.
Wait, and how long?
It was, you got on the boat, day at sea, Spain, day at sea, home.
Okay.
Wow. So it's a couple of days in total, like 3 days in total.
Yeah, 3 full days.
3 full days.
And then-
That's awesome.
And then 2 weeks ago, I played in the Battle for Salvation the Battle for Salvation Warhammer tournament in Palisades Mall, which was
That's-
super fun. And I'm very proud I won something for the first time ever. First time ever in like 15 years. I got Comeback Kid, which means if you lose all your games on the first day, it's the highest ranked player who lost all the games on the first day. I was very proud of this. And Bert at the club pointed out that made me the king of the losers, which I think is quite a sweet title. I was pleased with that, even though he meant it as an insult.
That's great. I love it. And of course, everybody that watches the channel regularly knows that our gaming club, Battle for Salvation, we host this event as well as another team event at the Palisades Mall here in New York. It's one of the biggest malls in America, and we host it there basically to kind of keep our gaming club going. It kind of funds everything. It's all a volunteer effort, and we have a great turnout every year. And we added a new award that Andrew just won. So
It's
if
like
you want to
a
see pictures, you can actually see pictures on Battle for Salvation's Facebook page, which I'll leave a link down in the description somewhere if I didn't. But if you go to Facebook and type in Battle for Salvation, you'll find us. You'll see pictures of Andrew and his award there.
There's lots of people go as well. It's like over 130 people, I think.
Yeah, we had a big turnout this year, and the team tournament's going to be even bigger. We're going to have 28-player teams. So I don't know math, but that's a lot of people.
160.
Wait, that's easy math. 160. I knew that one. That one I knew. All right. So let's talk more about Strahd here. All right. Back into the action, season 2, giving some updates to the viewers. I changed the thumbnails. You might be interested in this actually, because the thumbnail for season 1 was just to cover the book. So I changed the thumbnail up for season 2. I think it'll be easier to just it'll be more identifiable when you're looking in your YouTube feed and stuff like that. You'll be able to see if it's an older episode immediately. So the thumbnail is different. And I put season 2 on it. So if you see Curse of Strahd episode 1, it looks a little different. That's because it's season 2. Don't get confused. If you have to catch up, well, what are you doing? Go catch up. The playlist is updated. It's all ready to go. You got to watch, especially the end of season 1, because it's a little bit of a cliffhanger. We did like a Star Trek, cliffhanger. You got to tune in next year to see what's going on. So definitely go back and watch those. So playlist's been updated. Don't forget, and I don't usually say this, I keep forgetting, I should do it more, but like this video, go through the series, like those, like the ones you've seen even. Make sure you share this, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, hit the bell icon for notifications. Again, the only reason I'm saying this right now and trying to reinforce this is because we are starting season 2. We've took a pretty big break. I guarantee you it's going to take a little bit of time for people to pick up steam and realize we're even back. I've posted on social media. I've posted on Facebook. I posted on Discord. I did all the things leading up to this, but, inevitably somebody's going to see a video in a couple weeks and be like, oh yeah, they're back. And so share this, post it wherever you see fit. Please spread the word, because I want to get everybody who wants to watch season 2 back on it. So do that, do all the good stuff. And then down below in the description, you will find links to everything that we talked about, links to Jordan's channel, links to Printable Heroes, links to Tabletop Audio, as well as just all the other stuff, social media, Patreon, things like that for us. So go check that out. We also have our Google Drive with the house rules. The lingering injuries chart is also there. We will talk about that in just a second. And, of course, the children chart that we've made, because a lot of children get harmed in Barovia. So, check that out, because if you want to know where all the kids are not all right. Right, Tim?
Kids are fine. The kids are always fine. The kids are doing great. I don't know why you're looking at me for this. Yeah. I always go out of my way to help the kids in Barovia and elsewhere.
Unless you're Milovage, then it's a up in the air if he's going to help you.
Or the offspring.
It was an accident. I can't help it if NPCs are weak.
He was 13
I literally said something mean to him and he died, okay? How is that my fault?
Too real, unfortunately. Too real, Tim. Every time Tim plays in a game, Tim finds children and then finds ways to get them killed. That's what happens. That's what happens.
He was like a late teenager, so.
Well, so it's okay.
If he's a child.
Yeah, so it's okay.
Yeah. To be fair, he was also like abusive of his significant other, his partner. So maybe I'm the hero here, and everyone else is just a bystander. That's what it comes down to. You're all welcome. And
Tim's more of a let's recruit children to do evil than a let's kill them.
Yeah.
If they end up dying, that's okay.
Fair enough. So now a recap. How can we possibly recap an entire season? Well, we're really not. I'm going to go through the broad strokes here just to get everybody up to speed. If you haven't watched season 1, I would love for you to do it. But if you're like, I want to jump on now, this is the first time I'm checking this out, and you haven't tuned off already with the references to sniffing milk and this entire intro, you belong here, okay? If you got this far, you belong here. So I'm going to do a quick little broad stroke review, and then each of the characters are going to talk about some memorable moments, things that really stuck with their character throughout the campaign. So, the beginnings. Of course, no Strahd game would be complete without the Mists of Barovia. Each of the 4 characters, for a variety of different reasons, were brought through the Mists into the village of Barovia, which is, of course, traditionally the first place people go to when they get here into this land. They see the castle of Ravenloft up in the background. The village is definitely under Strahd's rule. You met a bunch of citizens of the village, including Father Lucian, eventually Irina Kolyana, who is the adopted daughter of the burgomaster, and even Ismark, her brother, who you left him in a bit of a pickle, honestly, but we'll talk more about the situation a little later. But eventually, you ended up going to Father Lucian, trying to get a way to get Irina out of the village before encountering the devil himself, Strahd. You had a battle in the cemetery, and then the group was off, trying to run for their lives. Eventually, you came across some lovely old ladies in a windmill. That was fun. And then after that, you ended up finding Madame Ava. Madame Ava did a Taroka deck reading. She was a Vistana woman who was on the side of the road in an encampment. Now, the Vistani are generally speaking a bit controversial in this setting because sometimes they seem to be very helpful, like Madame Ava. Others, they seem to be in it for themselves, or maybe perhaps even pawns of Strahd. And so it's hard to know who to trust. Even our good friend Laurent has been maybe accused of being a spy for Strahd. So we'll see. Eventually, though, after the card reading, Madame Ava told all of you the only way to get out of here, the only way to truly defeat the evil, is to find certain items. She gave you cryptic messages from the Taroka deck, the cards that she read, and that really kind of led you on to a wild goose chase to try to figure out where these places could be. Meanwhile, the group headed to the safety of Vallaki, which is a place that's sort of like the bigger city, way bigger than the village of Barovia, and to your knowledge, was safe from Strahd's rule. You entered in, but the Baron, Vlakovich, he is not so great either. Even some of his lackeys are pretty terrible people. So you were able to get in here. You found a house that was emptied, made that your home base. Irina felt like she finally could be at home once and for all. You met a man named Rictavio, who ended up maybe being more important to this plot in general than you thought. You also ended up meeting a good doctor, a good herbalist, who ended up being Strahd himself. He courted Irina, maybe even tricked her using magic to fall in love with him. Meanwhile, this hit Rufus very hard, but Rufus and Irina have shared a bond from the very beginning, and I think that'll be important as the episodes continue. Irina, feeling terrible about being maybe in a way betraying the group, getting him in trouble, ended up trying to do right by this and getting children saved and getting out of the place. And so you found safety with Casimir. Casimir's before I go on, one last thing. Dione, of course, had some troubles of herself because Dione ended up turning into a werewolf at the end of the second to last stream. So she ended up changing into a werewolf, thus revealing one of her dark secrets. And, of course, Canas and Yune is Pixie? Yune is a pixie, correct?
I think a sprite.
A sprite who is
same
in
thing.
imp form here in Barovia, have been at the heart of all the uncovering of the orphanage, travesty, and freeing Camilla's sister. And, of course, now the group uses Casimir, who's their fated ally, to go to the Temple of Amber. The Amber Temple has been a place that's just been horrible. I imagine most of you don't want to be here anymore. You travel to the mountains to the south, which is where this whole fortress was held. Used to be owned by some group, a temple by some magic users, but Strahd kind of commandeered it, took it over, and received a dark gift here. You've heard a lot about it. Casimir seems to believe that the one of the ways to stop Strahd must be here, and is kind of like really on a mission to find what dark secret to uncover. All along, you did find one very important book, the Tome of Strahd. You haven't really gotten a chance to look through it yet, but the tome definitely is one of the items that Madame Eva instructed you to find, and you found it in the miniature replica castle. Now, there's a couple other people with you right now. You have Vilnius, who is the mage who was an apprentice to a greater wizard who died here in the temple. Vilnius has been living for months off of rats and just like trying to survive, really just not get killed by any of the guards here in the temple. Camilla, who is your friend, I would say at this point, we'll say she's a friend. She's an ally. She's been with the group for quite some time now. The former lover of Milovaj, rest in peace. She ended up helping you, and you ended up helping her by freeing her sister Anna. Of course, Casimir is with us because Casimir is trying to uncover the dark secrets of the Amber Temple, which has been coming to him in dreams. And Irina, who has really been with the group from the beginning. So, that's where we are. We're about to head into the Amber Vault, which includes maybe the darkest parts of Barovia. And with that, let's talk about some of the highlights here. I think it might be fitting that we start with Rufus. Rufus, you're the paladin here. What's been some of Rufus's big important moments?
Well, obviously Rufus is kind of entangled with Irina. He wants to take her back to the Gwaindire and show her somewhere better than this place. And see what happens with that. He thinks a little bit about taking the shield in Barovia. He needed equipment. He came here with no equipment because he got transferred by the Stani with just what he had on. So he took a shield from a shop. He requisitioned it, which he needed it. And there's been some suggestion that it was a theft. But he doesn't view it like that. But sometimes he thinks about that. And obviously, I think a lot about the witches in the windmill and how 2 of them still remain. And how they could be abusing children still, and we haven't stopped that. So it's been a lot of failure for Rufus. Is used to succeeding at everything, and now he is not.
And as I'm right now, Rufus is pretty injured, correct?
Oh, yes, Rufus has 2nd-degree burns, and no spells, no smites, very few hit points. He's in really bad shape. And so is Irina. She has some kind of frost damage.
Yeah, Irina got hit with a cone of cold from Vilnius, actually.
Yeah, thanks to Vilnius.
In the battle against the Lich Exothanter, and I have her notes here. I believe it is a form of neuralgia, a nerve damage. So she has to take a saving throw before she does any action in combat, which is going to be nearly impossible for her to pass. Most likely, 75% of the time, she will not be able to take action in combat. So, she's not going to be much use, even though she has become a more proficient fighter. She won't be of much use. Then we have, of course, Camilla, who she's pretty okay. I don't think she's taking too much damage. And Vilnius is doing fine. He's thriving. And Casimir, which we'll maybe touch on you last, Jordan, but Casimir, I think, has some spells locked and loaded. We'll come back in a second. Thank you, Andrew. Let's jump over to Michelle. Michelle, how's Dione been?
Man, Dione has been a troubled character, I feel, during this series. Sometimes torn between wanting to save a wolf that everyone else is like, please, let's just leave. And she's like, no, we need to save this pup. Versus other moments where she is the wolf and she's trying to tear up a vicious villager. She's viciously trying to tear up an innocent villager. Sorry, totally changes adjectives. Anyway, so I think Dione has had an interesting time of it. I think something for Dione is that she struggles to trust. And so she's still a bit suspicious of the other members of the party, but it's kind of all right, she's willing to go along with it. And so I'm forgetting our names. Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Tim. Wait, what's your character's name?
Laurent LeMaire.
Laurent, thank you.
LeMaire.
It's been so long. Yeah. So I remember Dione is very thrown off by the fact that everyone's like, oh, that guy's totally a Vistani. And he's like, what? I'm not a Vistani. I'm just a human. And Dione's just like, So Dione's just trying to do the thing, get along, but then also is kind of side eyeing everyone around her at the same time.
It's also interesting because Dione, I think, was one of the more. I mean, you were completely trustworthy part of the group. I mean, like I think everyone in the group trusted each other, no doubt. Laurent maybe, had a little doubt with the rest of the group, but for the most part, Dione was rock solid in terms of trust, and then becoming a wolf kind of I think maybe changed things. Plus, Rufus is terrified of wolves, so
That's right.
we'll see. Anything else, or how are you doing?
Nothing
Health,
that comes. Oh, sorry.
hit point wise, and like ability wise, how are you doing?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't even. How are you, Dione? Let me see. Oh, I'm at full max hit points somehow. 37 out of 37.
Yeah, it's very possible you were, and also Dione is a rogue, so spells aren't really that much of an issue for you. You have the ability to kind of like keep all you're basically at your best always, right? So
I guess. And somehow I have 4 temporary hit points. I have no recollection of where those came from.
I think we're inspired by my speech.
Well, thank you, good sir.
yeah,
Lord Gwaindire smiles upon us all.
that's it. Let's go to Stefano.
So I'm playing Canas, who is a warlock. I think an important thing to note is this entire campaign actually started with a bad dream that Canas had of him being in this idyllic village that was then overrun by undead. Might be worth a listen to.
Yeah.
Other than that, some interesting things have happened. I think Canas has hinted over the episodes that he didn't end up in Barovia. While he did end up in Barovia, it may be something that he was hoping to end up in, or a place that he was hoping to be in.
True. Unlike most people who came here against their will.
Right. And of course, he has his trusty companion, Yune, who was a once sprite turned imp.
She died, right?
Yeah, except Yune.
Unfortunately, Yune was hit by a chain lightning here in the Amber Temple, and for some reason, the Find Familiar spell did not seem to bring her back. If this is forever, who knows? Or if this is just in this space, who knows? But I will certainly try again.
Oh boy. Yeah, we'll have to find out.
Outside of that, I think it's been kind of the wacky misadventures of Canas and Laurent. We had our crazy adventure in the orphanage, which was semi-successful. I don't know. I feel like we got Annabelle out, so success. And then we also had our crazy adventure in the Burgermeister's mansion, where
that's right.
oh my God, what's that guy's name that we killed? And then
Ezek.
people were
Ezek.
sad.
I just looked it up. Ezek.
There we go. Ezek. We had the crazy encounter with Ezek. We we robbed his personal chambers of some items, and then we saw the Burgermeister's son. What's his name? I don't remember his name. But a lot of crazy things happened. I tried to open a door. We got struck by some things. He threatened our lives, and it was pretty wild. So it's a pretty good dichotomy. I think we've got the stoic, kind of brooding Canas and the little more happy-go-lucky Laurent.
Yeah. Let's jump over to Laurent. Tim, how's Laurent been in Barovia?
As Canas said, Laurent has been happy-go-lucky. I've shown up and I've cavorted with women. I've had a great time overall. I don't know what the problem is. We can stay here the entire time. I'd be happy as can be. Laurent ended up here after winning a letter in a card game. And since then has just been fluttering around with this group, and it's been great. The only holdup is that everywhere I go, everyone seems to think of Vistani. From the very first day in Barovia at the inn, these 3 women are like, "You're Vistani." And I was like, "You're crazy. That can't be true. I know my parents." And everywhere we go, everyone's like, "You're Vistani." I'm like, No, I'm not. I'm only human. But this repeated theme of everyone thinks I'm Vistani has been not necessarily troubling. It's just everyone thinks I'm this thing I'm not. And there's certain connotations around that. that have been troubling also. You know, everyone thinks I'm a bad person because I steal orphans or grave rob people who are already dead. I don't know. It's, you know, I do things and everyone gives me a double standard. But as Canas did a great job of explaining, like, keep ending up in these strange situations where people seem to get hurt, and it's not even on purpose sometimes. You know, like Bluto got torn apart by a werewolf, and then Etek like stepped in on us going through his journal, and then he just like died too. And it's these things happen.
Yeah.
But it's despite Laurent's relatively happy-go-lucky attitude, Barovia is starting to. We've seen a lot of death. It's wearing on him.
Yeah. Well, I think the only person should go next is Jordan. We just have to touch on Casimir for a brief moment, but those are all great moments, and I forgot about a few of those. And by the way, it's Victor was the son of the Baron in Vallaki. Victor, and he was a jerk, a big old jerk, so not so nice. But let's talk more about Casimir, because you are the fated ally, or so the party says.
Yeah, I seem to be, and as far as I can tell from my record keeping in Roll20, I still have quite a lot of spell slots and all my hit points, plus some temporary hit points from a very inspiring speech.
Good, excellent. And of course, you've been with the group a few times. We counted maybe like 6 or 7 episodes. You started off with them when they met you in your hovel at Vallaki, just outside of Vallaki. But there was a part of the group that made you really think that this group could be maybe the key to getting rid of Strahd maybe once and for all. And so it brought everyone to the Amber Temple. Now, in this temple, you faced terrible horrors, like you faced creatures that you've never seen before. You faced what was that? The fox-like creature. What's his name?
Arcanoloth?
Yes, it's an Arcanoloth. There's a type of Yugoloth. Yeah, exactly. And so you've faced some very powerful creatures. Even though you yourself might be powerful, you might be getting this group in over their head. And right now, it looks like some of them are about to, on the verge of death.
Zoldar.
Ooh, Zoldar. Rest in peace. Yeah. How does that weigh on our good friend Casimir?
He's pretty hefty as I'm carrying him around, so it weighs on me pretty hard.
Good point. Good point. You also have a guardian, right? You what is it called?
Oh yes, I do have a shield guardian.
A shield guardian. That's it. Yeah.
Thanks to Vilnius's in some way.
A necklace.
He was very interested in something, and we took it.
Yep, his necklace. He had a necklace around his neck. He didn't realize what it was for, honestly, but once he realized it controlled this shield guardian, he wanted it, and you, I think, you just by force took it from him, right?
Yeah, I've been just slapping his spell slots out of him and taking his stuff. So.
Yeah. So, the last time we played, the final scene was the doors to the Amber Vault unlocking and everyone getting a first glance at what's inside. So we're going to dive into Barovia, into Grayscale for the first time this season. Ready?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Whoa, look at that.
Back at it.
I posted this in the chat before. Feels like we're home. Everybody, we're home. Okay. I've unlocked the doors. Who will open the vault?
I don't mind having the shield guardian do it.
Not a bad idea.
Did we give it a name? I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Robert.
Robert of the tabletop?
It could be Robert.
Robert it is. Robert will open the door.
Robert. He walks over and you hear the weight of his each step clashing against the stone floor as he passes by the group, obeying the command of Casimir. He pulls on the doors and they reveal pretty big area. Let me reveal it on roll 20. Now you might get alarmed. Don't be alarmed just yet.
Well,
Don't be alarmed. Okay. So, in this chamber, you see piles of gold. What would
Oh,
you be worried
boy.
about anyway? What would you be worried about? Yeah, so there's piles of gold. You can see treasure. It's heaped against the west and east walls of the stone room into 6 large piles. You can also see at the end of the room, you see a crevice. It looks like it's a crack has formed into the wall in that northern alcove. But also in that alcove is a 10-foot tall statue carved from amber, the likeness of a hawk-headed humanoid. You've seen something like this before on the upper levels. It was chasing Vilnius and some of our crew before the Rahadin came in. And I'll place a token here.
Do we see Rahadin?
No, he's been gone. He
Rahadin left.
a long time ago, I think.
We went to go destroy the Lich.
So that Rahadin would give us the
So he-
pass.
And
Yes.
then when we came back, he was gone, and
I
the
thought-
doors were the
Open.
mysterious like aura on the doors had disappeared.
I assumed that he had gone inside this room.
It's possible.
He may
he's
have.
still
He
here.
may have gone through that crevice in the back. We don't know for sure. Is there like I remember Vilnius so long ago being kind of a nuisance. Is there a specific reason I'm not recalling that we have not offed him, or we just decided it's not worth it? Because he's been like repeatedly not malicious, but like certainly trouble.
He's complaining about wanting to leave, and we've told him to go.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure there wasn't a major plot point. I was like, no, we need his something.
We don't need anything of his.
He gravely injured Irina.
Vilnius is
Oh,
like,
yeah.
is that treasure? He runs up to
Yeah,
the front.
go check it out.
Don't touch it. Vilnius, don't touch it.
He sees the treasure, but then immediately the golem, and he's like, ah, what are we doing here? Let us go.
Go. Just wait outside.
Camilla says,
Looking.
I don't think I've ever seen that much treasure. And she goes over towards it to inspect the first pile on the right.
Just don't touch it.
I won't. But you see, she really wants to. Remember, she's a bit of a kleptomaniac.
Camilla, I would like to take some of this gold with me too, but I would prefer that we don't touch it until we know that it's not cursed or trapped. In fact, why don't you check to see if there's any traps on the gold?
Is
You're
it
good at
possible?
that, right? Camilla?
She's like staring at like a gemstone in the pile. She's looking at the pile to the right, and she can see that there's like yeah, that's what she sees a gilded skull with red garnets in the eye sockets. She's just looking right at those red garnets. She's just like staring at them, and she's like puts her hand up, but then you're like, you could do that, right? And she's like, yes, and she like pulls her hands closer to her chest. Yeah, of course I can inspect. I can inspect the piles. Yeah.
Something tells me that thing, and I point to the golem, will activate as soon as one of these pieces of gold is touched.
Is there room to sneak past the golem through that crevice, or at least get behind the golem, or is it like pretty well like blocking the majority of that crevice?
It's possible, but it's tight squeeze.
Can I try?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe give me an acrobatics check, because I assume you're trying not to touch the statue, correct?
I would try really hard not to.
Yeah. So give me a acrobatics check. I'd say it's a DC 10.
Okay, that feels like doable. Maybe not. Maybe not at all. That's
What'd
a
you get?
6.
A 6? Oh my god. You trip on some of the rubble, and that forces you to put your hand like on the knee of the amber golem to steady yourself.
It's just...
It
You hear
doesn't
a
move.
resounding metal thud through the room as I trip over and tap the golem.
It doesn't move. And Vilnius is like, "This one's just a statue. Harmless. Look at it." And he goes up to it, and he's like, he gestures an indecent gesture towards it with his hand. "See? Look at this one." You can pass if you'd like, Laurent. You can go through. You want to go through the crevice?
Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't want to. Yeah. Back here, is there anything that indicates danger or that someone shouldn't follow me?
Probably. Well, hold on. I wouldn't say danger that like you think you're gonna die, but
Sure.
everything's here is dangerous. Even the air around you, you sense dread instantly. This room has a golden marble staircase with a black marble railing that hugs the northern wall as it spirals gently up a 30-foot wide shaft. Lying in the middle of the room are 6 rotting wooden crates. The amber-covered walls are sculpted to look like tentacles that entwine around marble bas-reliefs of kings, queens, pharaohs, and sultans attended by a myriad of slaves. To the west, south, and east, the walls contain alcoves, and standing in each alcove is a tall, rough block of amber. You've seen a lot of amber here.
Last question: do the pharaohs, the bas reliefs, and the like kind of bird-headed statue outside, does any of that like ring any bells in terms of like cultures or civilizations Laurent might be aware of?
There's not a check to make here, but it kind of does tie in what seems to be maybe multiple cultures. So
Okay.
nothing that would be like specific enough to be like that's the this empire or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay. I'll call back to the rest of the group and be like, if you want to come back here, there's more stuff and a staircase leading up.
Casimir, it feels like it's been months. Can you remind me what we are seeking here at this in this amber vault?
There are powers and artifacts in this temple that could be of use to us.
In addition to the tome that we found in the replica of the castle, you feel?
Yes. I'm certain of it.
Well,
And it has been
Yes.
months. I've forgotten my accent.
oh goodness, it's as if you have a cold or something.
Right, yeah. It's the tools to confront Strahd can be found in this temple. So,
Well then, clearly this room must be a trap or a decoy. I think we must press on.
well, hold on. I'll follow through. Can I squeeze in?
Yeah. Do you want to avoid touching the golem as well?
No, I'm gonna be okay. Like, I'm not gonna try to touch it, but I'm not gonna like take pains to avoid it.
Go for it.
Okay.
So you move in and you see the exact area that I just spoke to in terms of Laurent's view. You can see everything here. The outline that's on the map here is just actually showing you like where the so like you actually have
There's
been in
above.
parts of the above area. That's like the overhang of the staircase that you would see, above. There's another area, but you can't get to it just yet. So ignore the dotted lines for now. You also have been upstairs and downstairs in this place, and you've seen sort of that sort of thing too, where overhangs are above you.
Mm-hmm. Can Robert squeeze through that crevice?
It's too small for Robert, especially with the statue in the way.
Okay. I'm going to instruct Robert telepathically to go see if he can find a way up above. There's another way, but if not, to return to that room and wait.
Robert gives you iron salute, and then heads out.
See you soon, mate. All right.
He crashes out the door. Irina, now hesitant from her nerve pain, kind of slumps up against the archway of the door and looks in, and she says, "Are we sure that we have still mission to accomplish here? I believe we found the tome. Maybe perhaps that is all we need. Casimir, are you certain?"
He's gone. He's gone ahead. But he assured me that.
I'll go back through. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
certain there's something we need to find in this temple.
She's
Here
like,
he is,
"Canas,
by the way."
I may be weak, but my voice still carries.
Oh, sorry. I should have paid attention. I didn't realize. My bad.
My voice still carries, Canas."
Well, you just walked in the room and you were speaking to somebody that you couldn't see. It seemed strange.
What? I can't hear you. You hear Laurent say from the background.
What's Dione doing during
Sorry,
this?
sorry, Laurent. My voice does not carry.
I hear the girl just fine. I just can't hear you. It's weird.
Well, okay.
Camilla's starting to search the piles. Dione, what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess based on where I am, Dione is probably keeping an eye on Camilla this whole time, like while people are conversing. Because Dione's also like sweating looking at this gold. But has enough life experience to recognize a trap when she sees one. So probably keeping an eye on Camilla. If Camilla's hands so much as like stray a single centimeter towards the piles, Dione will just like slap her hand out of the way.
Okay, so you're watching her.
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. Let me see what she can find.
But I think upon hearing what Irina said about like, oh, like we got the book already, Dione kind of starts to nod along. She says, "Yes, if I recall, all we had to find was a treasure under a small castle. We have found it. Perhaps we should just leave. I don't like this place."
Camilla says, I found it. Look at this." Does anybody look?
What is it?
What are you looking at?
You can see in the pile to the north, northeast. So she's like kind of going through the piles, goes to this pile here. I can't believe it. You can see she's got, she's pointing out that there's a leather-bound tomes. There's 15 books, and it looks like they're a storybook called Snow Dwarf and the Seven Whites. She's like, my parents used to
15
read this
versions?
to my parents used to read this to us.
You had parents?
Well, not anymore.
Oh, Camilla, I think Laurent is calling for you in the other room. You should go through.
Wait,
I think I hear him.
but the books.
No,
I must
we'll get
have them.
on the way out. Perhaps we can get them.
I gotta
think we
have
should-
them.
I think you should go for those gems on the way out, Camilla.
Camilla,
Wait.
come through. You're not carrying books around the entire time, and I'm not carrying them for you.
They're
They're
thin.
not going anywhere.
I'll carry them.
What do you want?
Dione
These-
shows that she's ready to slap.
Yeah, Camilla's like hands are kind of probing, reaching.
I'm gonna
You s-
grab her.
You slap him out. Okay.
Yeah.
You slap her
No.
hand and Rufus grabs her. She's like, I'm sorry. They reminded me of my mother. I'm sorry. We'll take them on the way out. You're right. Silly me. She looks at him again, though. She'll
Let's
move
press
past
on.
him.
I'll tell you a story as we walk later.
Oops.
I'll shove her through.
I just jumped
Oh.
in the pile of gold.
Oh,
Ah!
He dove in like Scrooge McDuck.
No.
All right.
Also, I got strong Cave of Wonder vibes in here. If anyone,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
I'm not leaving until Dione leaves. Not that I don't trust you, Dione.
Okay. Gives Rufus a side eye and then steps through.
So
Hmm.
Irina goes in, Camilla goes in, Casimir is in, Canas is in, and Laurent is in.
Vilnius.
Dione goes in. Vilnius lingering at the third pile on the left. He says,
In you
Oh,
go.
jeez.
In
He
you
says-
go, Vilnius.
"Wait, look at those ceramic statues. Do you know how much they could be sold for?"
Vilnius, I think you'll be quite interested in what's in this other room. It's amazing, and there's not a golem watching over them.
You're kidding me.
Are
Step
people
aside.
Are people talking in the other room? I can't hear them.
Step aside. He moves into the room with the amber. Okay. So everybody's in this room now. Rufus, you're the last one to follow through the crevice. Now, the crevice is tight. I didn't make you make checks or do anything like that. It's definitely, you can pass through, but you'll notice that it's two little tiny slivers. For anyone who's a medium character, this is tight. You have to squeeze through this to get through. Even Dione, even though you are a small character, we've talked many times about your rotund nature. So I'm going to say it's even a squeeze for you. Is that fair?
Sure. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Height isn't my strongest characteristic, but width sure is. So,
Yes.
yes, understood.
So for everyone passing through there, it's a squeeze. It's going to be double your movement, and it takes the squeezing rules. So if you happen to be in those two squares during combat or something, that won't be good for you. Okay. And it takes, like I said, it takes a little bit extra time to get through it, but you're able to push on into this room. Now, like I described, there are 6 crates. They're just kind of strewn about the room. 3 large pieces of amber, one to the east, one to the west, one to the south in alcoves, and the stairwell to the north. So that's what you see in this room. I'm going to make it a little bigger for the audience to see, but. And people at home, let me know about anything if I forget to zoom in or whatnot, audio levels, let me know.
With the rotting crates, is there enough like rotted material that we can see into them? Or are they just kind of like deteriorating and still solid?
Let me just make sure I'm not misrepresenting them.
Sure.
But 6 rotting wooden crates, that's all it says. But I am going to say that, no, you cannot see into them. No. The wood looks rotten, but it's dark inside. It's also dark in here. I know most of you have dark vision, but I think, Rufus, you must be carrying some sort of a torch or a lantern, right?
I think someone cast a light on my shield.
I
that's
can
right.
cast light if I haven't already. I'll cast light as a
That's
cantrip on
probably
your
what it
shield.
was.
I also have a very strong sense of smell. Can I smell anything odoriferous or any sense that I recognize from these crates?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. And yeah, now that my secret's out, I believe I have advantage on perception checks that rely on smell or hearing.
You do. Yep.
All right. Sweet.
And for those of you wondering at home, we're not going to reveal every single part of Michelle's character right now, but you are not just simply a werewolf from the book. We have a slightly different way that we kind of created a werewolf character. Maybe by the end of the campaign I will share it, but I don't want to give away everything, right? You would agree, Michelle?
Of course.
Yeah. So
Agreed.
for right now, that's fine. A fine reveal.
Sorry. I should ask you next time.
No, that was a great reveal. I think that's an okay one.
Cool. So then my sniff check was 22.
There's a dead bodies inside these crates. You can smell the death on them.
Wow. So I smell it and I wince and I say, these boxes, they are full of death.
In fact,
Evil.
can I give you
Yeah.
one more piece of information? You rolled pretty high,
Sure.
right? 26,
22.
22.
Mhm.
You've smelled creatures like this before in the attic of the coffin maker shop.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Although actually you might have abandoned the group at that point, didn't you?
Yeah, I think we like stepped foot inside the place and I was like, "Oh, sweet, we're here. Okay." And then I just like immediately left.
So it's a smell that is reminiscent of the coffin maker shop. Maybe you don't understand it, though.
Okay.
because you weren't in the attic, but you were in the shop, and so maybe you got a faint whiff of this, and this kind of, you know how when a smell brings back a memory, it's like that.
Of course. Yes, of course. Okay. Then Dione will say, these boxes, they are full of the smell of death. For some reason, I remember the coffin maker, his shop, has the same smell. Did you see any boxes like this when you are there?
Vampires. The smell is vampires.
We had to run from them, so we should not stir them awake.
Do not disturb the crates.
Okay. And then when they say that, Dione looks at Camilla again, shows her the hand ready to slap. Do not touch.
If it ain't shiny, I ain't touching it.
Good.
Can I go up to some of the amber, Bob?
Yeah,
And place my hands on it and just focus on it?
sure. Which amber, or the walls, or the large slabs?
The 3 large slabs. I'll go to the middle one.
The southern, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You give it a good slap, would you say?
Yeah. it was-
Yeah. So you can see when you get closer enough to it, there's something within the amber. It looks like perhaps even a body, but it's almost like a silhouette. The amber is deep enough and thick enough that it's actually, and it's a little cloudy, that it's hard to tell what's inside it. But it does look like some sort of a body inside. When you put your hand on the amber, you feel something powerful, actually. Almost even, I wouldn't say as much as words come to you, but almost like the transference of an idea. And you can feel yourself wanting what's inside. Magic, arcane knowledge. And it's beckoning for you to probe further.
All right. I'm going to place my forehead on it and just
Ooh.
focus and pull out the tuft of hair I keep on me. I hold it up to it.
Everybody sees Casimir do this. It's pretty wide open. He presses his head against the sarcophagus and pulls something out of his shirt. You probably can't tell what it is. It's clutched in his hand, but he presses up against it. What do you all do while he's doing this?
What's happening over there, Casimir?
Do you
I
reply?
don't respond.
Okay. He doesn't respond.
Which one is he up against?
I believe it was the center.
Yeah, the southern room one. Yep.
Laurent, having heard Camille talk about stories her mother used to read her, is kind of like lost in thought and playing with a small box in his pocket.
I call Irina over to me. Irina.
She walks over very slowly, again, kind of shivering. Yes, Rufus.
Look at the staircase.
I see. It probably goes up to the second floor, where we fought the Lich.
Yes, and then I glance back at Casimir and see what's happening.
What is he
I'm
doing?
gonna walk up to him and say, "Listen, we moved this far because of you. You need to tell us what is going on with this amber." Then I glance at it.
You look at it, and you don't see anything happening. Like, literally, it looks like he's pressed his head up against basically this, giant hunk of amber. Nothing's happening, but Casimir's locked in. I assume you're not speaking, right?
Right. I'm devoting full focus
Mhm.
to this task.
Yeah. The vestige within. Again, speaking would be such a like a rudimentary way of describing this, but it's communicating with you. The power of this sarcophagus is in tune with you, and it offers you a gift. You hear a word within your brain, tenebrous. And at this point, you can feel a gift being given to you. It is the secret of lichdom. Do you want to accept this? Power would come to you. Great power and undeath.
That's not what I seek. I'm going to go to the next one.
Okay, so at this point, you see Casimir just like immediately, emotionless, move his head, walk to the next one. Canas, how do you take this?
I'm not thrilled that he's not answering me. So I'm gonna walk to the other one and see what the heck is going on. I'm gonna say, if you won't speak to me, I'm gonna see what's going on myself. I'm gonna walk up to the other piece of amber.
Oh, this is great. Well, put your character. Yeah, put your. Oh, yeah, great. Yeah, do that. Yeah. Okay, so everybody's watching this little tiff. Casimir goes over to the left. Canas goes to the right, touching the amber sarcophagus, I assume.
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. I'll do. I think I'll do Stefano first here, just as give you some insight as to what's going on. You touch your hand to the amber, and nobody else sees anything changing with the amber, but you do. You touch it, and a word comes to you. The word is Zadun. And the more you touch this and stay in contact with it, the more it lures you closer. The more you want to like put your body up against it. Do you do that? Do you put your head or your chest up against it?
Do I feel like I can say something to the rest of the group?
You
or
could.
am I so...
You could, but you do get the sense that like if you were to distract yourself, you might lose this connection. Maybe, depends. See if you want to try to say something.
I think he would probe further.
Oh, so you press your body up against it?
I'll put my forehead against, just like
Oh, yes. Meanwhile,
Casimir did.
Casimir, you head to the west sarcophagus, and you place your hand upon it. And again, similarly, the vestige within communicates with you. You feel, again, immense power, just like you felt before. Canas, you also felt that immense power. And the word... actually, no word comes to you just yet. But do you want to probe further?
Yes.
You probe and press your head against it, and the vestige again communicates with you. You feel the word vampire come to your mind, of course spelled with a Y. And this is a gift, another gift of immortality and undeath. This one, though, has conditions to it. It's just similar to the other one, different conditions to it. I assume I know your answer here.
This time, frustrated. This one seems especially to frustrate me.
Yeah.
Push off of it in anger. I'll start walking over to the other one that Canas is at, and when I see him at it, like, no, what are you doing? No, and I'll run over to it.
Okay, everybody's seeing this play out, and now across the room, Casimir starts running, telling Canas not to touch the sarcophagus. How do you all react?
Dione, I guess, was like silently watching from the beginning with Casimir kind of on the middle amber stone. So she's concerned and runs over to join Casimir. She's getting ready to like give Canas a sharp jab, like in the back of the knee or something, if needed. Just like to break him away from the rock if necessary.
Nice. Tim, what about Laurent?
Laurent kind of snaps back to the present and immediately looks over and starts looking at the blocks of amber, thinking that like if we're yelling, there must be some kind of trouble. It starts quickly surveys the boxes on the ground, looking for the enemy that must exist if we're yelling in here.
Mm-hmm. And then Rufus?
Rufus is standing there, his eye on the exit, but he's observing what's going on.
You notice...
He's exhausted but curious.
Yeah. What's your perception score? Your passive?
Give me 1 second. 13.
A 13, you said?
13. Yep.
Vilnius is trying to slowly back into the crevice.
Oh,
You notice it, though.
shut up. Vilnius, back here. Come
He says,
to me.
I'll only be a minute.
No, back here now, Vilnius.
He looks at you and he's like, what are the odds that I'm going to get killed by this guy?
My hand goes to my sword.
Give me an intimidation check. And tell me what you say.
Oh. It's only 10. But, I say, I haven't forgotten what you did back with the leech. Don't give me another reason.
He's like, all right. He'll stay. And Camilla is standing next to Irina and Rufus towards the northern staircase. And at this point, Canas, you feel like you're almost like a disembodied feeling. You're not really there anymore. You sense a vestige within communicating to you, or at least trying to, sharing emotions and such. And again, the name Zudun is what comes to you. You feel...
Can I make a check for that name, or would I have no idea?
You would have no idea. Not even.
Okay.
Never. Zudun. And then another phrase enters your mind. The corpse star. You get the sense that a gift is being given to you. Again, out-of-body experience. You and the vestige within are communicating. You're maybe looking right at each other. Its shadowy face right up against yours. And it says, would you like the gift to restore life?
Oh my god. That's all it says.
Yeah, it's waiting for your response.
Yes.
And it says to you, are you
More
willing,
than anything.
are you willing to sacrifice for this? You're mulling this over. Casimir, you reach the sarcophagus. You see him. He's locked in. His eyes are closed. His head pressed up against it. You know how this goes. You felt the same feeling. What do you do?
I'm gonna beckon him, like, get away from it. I'm gonna pull on his shoulder.
You grab him? Yeah.
Mhm.
You grab him, and immediately,
away.
Stefano, your link is severed. You're back here. You're not talking to a vestige. You're contemplating this very seriously. Then all of a sudden, Casimir has pulled you back out.
I'm gonna look at him and say, I seek a very specific power. It's for my sister. Please do not muck around with your hands right now.
I seek a very specific power as well, and I may have found it.
What did you find?
I walk away,
Oh,
disgusted.
I'm like on the edge of my seat here. Jeez. Okay. You walk
Do
away.
I sense Robert return to the other room? Or is he
Uh,
still wandering?
the other room. Remind me of the other room again. It was...
where the treasure is, on the other side of the crevasse.
Not yet. How long do you think it has been? How long do you think you've estimated it's been? You've been in this room? 10 minutes?
Maybe.
15?
I'm just seeing if he's nearby. But either way, I turn towards
I
that
don't
one
think
that
so.
he was just focused on, and I'm gonna focus on it now.
Ooh, Canas, you see him pressing up against the sarcophagus.
I pull him away.
Interesting.
I'll get in
Casimir.
his face. What are you up to, pup?
You need to tell me exactly what the power you seek is and why.
I will restore my sister, and she will give us power to defeat Strahd. Without her, we're all dead. So quit mucking around with your little wish.
Excuse me. Why don't you tell me more about your sister and what sort of power she can give us to defeat Strahd?
She's the most powerful mage I've ever known. And she's been speaking to me in my dreams and led me to this place. She died by my hand, and I need to make that right.
Someone died because of me.
Well, they can't help you escape Barovia, can they?
And your sister can.
Yes.
If you are going to take this power to restore life, which is exactly what that, and I point to it, will give you, you need to stop moving about this place, acting like you are all high and mighty and above us.
I'm not
And you
high
need
and
to
mighty.
work. You need to work with us.
The last person who had a problem with their sister and dreams, you killed him in the street. So what do you think I would do? Step aside.
I didn't kill anyone.
I'll go up to the sarcophagus.
You press your hands against it.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Again,
I look at the rest of the party and I say,
Yeah.
But he is our fated ally. Should we not trust him?
you don't have questions. You don't see the way that he speaks to us, the way that he treats us, the way that he doesn't give us information.
We must trust each other. Canas.
Irina says, he's our fated ally, but is it not possible that our fated ally could make a mistake?
Well, this.
Camilla's like, I don't know what the heck's going on, but I'm getting real scared. And what's Vilnius doing? Vilnius is like starting to slowly back away again.
Dione's just gonna go and grapple Vilnius.
Oh no, leave
Enough
me
of these
be.
shenanigans.
Leave me, little one.
So not a single one of you are bothered in any way that he just started bugging out and talking about restoring the life of his sister. I pressed my forehead against that, and it offered me the power to restore life.
Necromancy.
You don't think any of that is strange?
It's
It
offering
is.
him
Oh.
necromancy.
So you don't find it strange that he didn't share that information with us?
It is
Well,
strange, Irina says, and I agreed with you, Canas. We're on the same team.
Yes, this
I
is important
thank you, Irina.
context.
Thank you, Irina. It seems that everyone else here just thinks it's okay that this person, who is supposedly our fated ally, has been withholding information from us this entire time.
Dione?
I wouldn't put it like that. I walk over to him, to Casimir, and I pull him away from the crystal thing.
Before you do that, Dione, you were about to say something, though. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, I said, well, Canas, this is important context. I just thought he was perhaps resting his face on the rock for some reason. But okay, no, we should not allow anyone to become a necromancer. I agree.
Fair
And,
enough, fair enough.
I'll drag Vilnius back into the room.
Fair enough.
Just muttering like, this is not your time to go.
No, not again. Why? And Casimir, you feel Rufus pull you back again, and again you just feel like you got the name Zadoon, the corpse star. The gift is to restore life, and pulled back again. And what does he do to react?
I'm just like stunned at this point. I'm just like wide-eyed. We came here to get this power. Please let me finish this.
I'm gonna hug him.
Aw.
Embrace. I'm gonna whisper to him. We do not defeat the enemy by becoming the enemy. Let us push on. Your sister is gone.
Do you struggle? Do you resist? Are you grappling him?
No, I'm not grappling him.
Casimir's a little speechless. He's like, I'm not. If I wanted to become the enemy, I would have stayed over at that one over there. My sister lies in Castle Ravenloft's tomb, and I would see her restored.
To an undeath?
No, not undeath. To life.
Casimir, if you are going to take this power, it is important that we know what you will become. That slab spoke of sacrifice. What is the sacrifice?
I don't know. But I will pay the price. Let me bear that burden.
Casimir, what if your sister comes back and she is not the way you remember?
She bringing her back is the only sense of purpose I have now, and you were given a commission to me, as my sister has found a way to commune with me in my dreams. To me, I doubted it, but I take it as a sign that I'm supposed to follow through on this with all of you, and if we fail, I die alongside you. I've accepted that. Let me pay this price, whatever it is.
Well,
And as you say that, and you beckon or you beg for the group to do this, to let you have it, Vilnius is going to try to break away from Dione. Dione, give me an athletics check.
Sure. Oh, well.
Boom, baby.
I'm basically a meatball. Like, that's my body composition.
Yeah.
So yes.
He
I
says-
handle this scrawny boy.
Yeah, he tries to run, but you had your hand on him, so you pull him back, and he's, he actually is so light and frail compared to you. It's really no contest. You're like an anchor. He can't really move away from you. But he says, "It's not fair. There's treasure in there." And he kicks this box
Oh no.
Ah,
in frustration.
of course.
Kill Vilnius.
And then the box
Can we
begins
kill
to
him
shake.
seriously?
The box begins to shake.
Let us go. The decision is made for us. Let's go up the stairs now.
The
need
music
to
just
stay
changed.
here.
We can't go on the stairs.
Oh.
The box shakes. The other 3 boxes on the left-hand side shake. The other 2 adjacent
Is there
to
any
you shake.
metal in the boxes or metal around the boxes? Something like a barrel with like loops on it. Is there any hinges or?
No, it's just a simple crate. But they're shaking.
I hate to see it.
But they're shaking.
We gotta go. I'm gonna
Run.
start moving towards the stairs.
Yeah, so am I.
What about Casimir?
Come, Casimir.
I'm going to glance
Casimir,
at
do
the
you-
sarcophagus.
You can hear the corpse star calling to you, Zadoon.
Where are all of they right now at this moment?
I think
Like
some of them
our
were
group?
headed towards the stairwell. Rufus, Laurent, Camilla for sure.
I guess same, Dione. but she's also like dragging Vilnius along with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we leave him behind?
I'm staying right there.
Okay. Irina will stay with you as well, Canas.
Irina, no, come.
What about you, Casimir? Do you answer the call?
Casimir is going to cast greater invisibility on himself
Oh,
as
He's
he
gone.
he rears back his head and lets out a deep breath, like a really intense yoga session. And as he does breathe out, it's like he breathes out all the color from his body, and he goes invisible. And then he's gonna go to the side of the sarcophagus and try to commune with it.
good. And Irina flails after your body, but her nerve damage cripples her in pain. She's my arms, Canas, my arms. You can see her writhing in pain. Casimir, do you want to accept the gift?
Yes.
Are you willing to make the sacrifice? The corpse star says.
Do I know what it is? But yes.
You have no idea what it is, but you say yes because your sister has been calling for you in your dreams, and you have the hair, correct?
Yes.
The hair before you begins to spill out, just kind of falling like water from your hand, and eventually that turns into just this drops of amber liquid, and eventually more amber starts to flow from within your hand, and the hair now kind of takes on its own entity. And before all of you, you can start seeing a creature form. Do you want to describe your sister?
She's almost the splitting image of me, but much more feminine. She has a slender but powerful presence. Dark hair and her dusk elven ears.
She has ears, unlike you.
Yes. She has very strong, pronounced cheekbones and lips that seem to always be in just a little bit of a smirk. And there she is.
And she looks just as you remember. The amber twists and shapes itself, slowly taking on the form of the sister that you described. As the figure solidifies, you see Patrina. Her features, like I said, unmistakable. Her eyes open. She looks around. Initially, she looks kind of a little disoriented, but she immediately recognizes her brother, and she can see you through the invisibility. You feel like you were pretty much hidden from everybody, but she looks directly at you. And now that she looks in his direction, Canas and Irina especially, you get the sense of where he must be. He must be to the side of the amber. Do you do anything, Canas?
I saw Irina shout in pain,
Yeah.
and I grab her and I pull her towards the rest of the group.
Go ahead, move your token. Yeah, move your token. Yeah,
While keeping my eyes back at what is happening over there.
sure.
I'm pulling her with me if she can come with us. I'm pulling her to Rufus.
Perfect. She'll move, yeah. You can see Patrina's image starting to solidify. Hands still almost semi-translucent from the amber, but she reaches out to you and she says, Casimir, you freed me from the darkness. Thank you. And then as the power of Zudun completes its work, Patrina's form becomes completely tangible. Her etherealness, the amberness to her, that glow kind of dims. She is fully returned to life. Her presence is probably both a bit joyful, beautiful, but also, in a way, haunting, because you haven't seen your sister in so long, and you've mourned her and kind of moved past that, and now she's back. She says, Brother, embrace me. And she holds out her arms. Do you do so?
Tears running down my eyes. I just tell her, I'm so sorry. And I'll go to embrace her.
Good. She hugs you. And probably to the rest of the group, it looks like she's hugging nobody, right? Because, you're invisible still. But she says, "You've done well, brother, to bring me back. But you've always played the fool."
I'll step back. What do you mean?
You never understood, did you? My heart belongs to Strahd. And she kind of like cackles as she says that last line.
No, no. I was wrong to kill you. You're not. No. You're not her.
Oh, I am. I always have been. But you brought me back not to reunite our family, but to restore me to my true love. And for that I thank you, brother. Truly.
No. You will help us destroy Strahd.
As she looks over at the group, she's like, "Please. Impossible. Listen, I have no quarrel with you, brother. My destiny lies in Ravenloft by Strahd's side. And you all," she talks to the party now, "do not be so quick to judge, or you'll find yourself at the mercy of a power you cannot comprehend. My allegiance is to Strahd, and I will not hesitate to defend it." And with a malevolent grin, she raises her hand, and in a binding flash of dark energy, she kind of envelops her form. She disappears. There might be like a lingering shadow of her teleportation, but she leaves Casimir. Well, at least Casimir feels this. You can't see him, but he is just crumpled on the ground, devastated, possibly heartbroken, and a shell of himself. She's gone. And that will trigger these boxes. The boxes burst open. Inside are vampires. They jump out, and they look like they haven't had blood in quite some time. We're going to go into combat. Everybody roll initiative. Tell me what it is, and I will write it down.
Bob, did Casimir's token get moved? I don't have any visibility, so I can't select the token.
I took you away because you're invisible.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring you back.
Thanks.
All right. Just tell me what you got, actually. I will write them down. Looks like Dione got a 10.
Yes.
Laurent got a
Dione
9.
10, Laurent 9,
Canas 12.
Canas 12,
Rufus 5.
Casimir,
14.
and for our good friends here, Irina, Camilla, and Vilnius. Oh, they're all going first. Okay. Alrighty. So we're going to start with Camilla. Camilla is kind of shocked at this whole ordeal. She doesn't know what to make of it. This was kind of confusing to her in the first place. She doesn't really know what this power is or anything, but she saw an elf come before her and then threaten everybody and leave. So she's going to draw her weapon, and she's going to attack probably the nearest vampire, which I have to still put on the board. I apologize. Let's see here. Here we go. Tokens. Token. There we go. Okay, so everybody's here. So you can see there are 6 crates, 6 vampires emerge from them, and we're going to go starting with Camilla. It's Camilla, Vilnius, Irina, Casimir, Canas, Dione, Laurent, Rufus. That's the order here. Okay, let's start with Camilla. Camilla is going to go and she's going to take her short sword and she is going to attack the nearest one, which is towards Vilnius. Okay, we got a 13 and an 8, which do not hit, unfortunately. She is going to take a bonus action to disengage and stay far away and maybe head up the stairs. But she'll probably call out and say, "Where are we headed?" And if anybody wants, they can reply a quick, short response.
Away from here.
Upstairs?
Up the stairs.
Was hoping to go out squeeze through, but let's go up the stairs.
She starts to go up the stairs. Vilnius is like, "Through the crevice! Save me! There's a vampire here!" Okay. Vilnius is going to go next. And Vilnius, he's pretty... yeah, he doesn't care about all of you at all. So he probably is going to do something for himself. Let's see. He might... Let's see. I think he's going to try to get out of your grasp, Dione.
Okay.
He's going to Misty Step. He's going to Misty Step to the crevice, because that's the last you could see. So he's going to Misty Step right there, and he's going to be squeezed, and he's going to start moving through and get to the other side out of sight. So now he's in the treasure room. Okay. Now we go to Irina. She does not want a chance taking an action because it does hurt, though she has her sword out. She will move 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6 up the steps. Okay, let's go to Casimir.
All right. Let's see. So, while invisible, I see Dione over there. Is that Dione's exact position?
I believe so, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay. Let's see. I will.
Robert, you
Does
sense
it seem
him
like the
coming
group
back,
is
by the
trying
way.
to run up the stairs, or are they staying to fight? Sorry.
I don't know. Robert is back, though.
Robert is back? Okay.
Mhm.
So he's not far from me. All right. While invisible, I'd like to move over here. And then I'll look to Rufus, like, run or fight. Oh, wait, I'm invisible. I'll say to Rufus, run or fight.
What? Where? Who said that?
The vestiges in the amber.
Run.
It's me, Casimir. Are we running or fighting?
I just say run.
All right, then my invisibility breaks, and I, again, smack the ground, and all the horrid faces of the Dusk Elves that have died rise up as I cast Wall of Stone to cut us off from all of the vampires so we can run up the stairs and
Hell yeah.
they're split.
Oh, that's not.
Hell yeah. And you know what? I know you're an NPC. Goddamn inspiration. Okay? This wall of the dead Dusk Elves. Oh my god, so great. Take your
He's already a
inspiration, Jordan.
necromancer. What does it matter if he's talking to dead people?
Take it, Jordan. All right. Great
I'll take
job.
inspiration.
I'm going to put a little line here. Where do you want it? Like this? Essentially?
I just want to do one big curvature. Let me see how I want to see if I can double layer it based on the dimensions. Just a extra.
Is it 50 feet?
I think it's. Let me open it up. I think
Sure.
it's 10 panels. 6 inches thick, and it's composed of 10 by 10 foot panels.
10 by 10 foot panels. Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Basically
yeah,
100 feet worth of stone.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What I drew right now is 7.
Okay.
So you can double up like the ends or something like that. Something like this. You can just kind of do that, like a little.
That
dog
sounds
ear at the
great.
end. Yeah,
Yep.
Does it have to be continuous?
I believe
Yes.
so. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was
Okay.
gonna say you could block off Vilnius.
Oh damn. Robert's in there. Do you give you give Robert a command?
Yeah. It says
Yeah.
each panel must be contiguous with at least one other panel.
Yeah.
Or I could create 10 foot by 20 foot panels that are only 3 inches thick. So I could make more surface area but less thick, which doesn't help right now. So
Okay. Do you want to tell Robert anything?
I want to tell Robert to to run to leave the treasure room and shut that door and hold
Gotcha.
it shut.
Gotcha. So the camera would totally pan to, if this was a movie, the camera would pan to the treasure room as Robert jumps into action. Vilnius is starting to fill his robes with treasure and candelabras and everything, just like in Aladdin or something like that. And then the golem comes to life within that chamber, and Vilnius screams, "No! It's alive! It's alive! Help me!" And then the doors close as Robert locks him inside with the hammer golem.
Nice.
Perfect.
Divine justice, baby, is what I've been looking for like 4 episodes now.
I'm
Let's
not
go.
sure. I'm not sure if it's Laurent's wish or Tim's wish, but it came true.
4K no los dos, baby. This is divine comedic justice.
Does his voice carry into the room that we're in?
Yeah.
You hear all this?
Oh, it carries loud. It
That I
echoes
heard.
off the wall of stone.
I
So-
tried.
Yeah. Casimir, great job, and you're gonna move to there. Okay, great. So Dione is next.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, I feel pretty safe in these walls. And Diane's then just gonna kind of stroll up the stairs.
You hear the vampire on the other side. They're like clawing at the stone, trying to climb it, but it's pretty much flush with the ceiling in here. So they don't have much room to really manipulate anything. So they're trying their very best to break down this wall, but it will be slow going to do so.
Then a big old shrug. Perhaps they can have Vilnius for a snack.
That's right. Oh my God, they are going to be able to get him. Yeah. True. Okay. Listen, if you want to run, if the goal is to run, you can all move. At this point, you're going to have a few rounds before the walls, remain. So, do you want to move?
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. Let's jump around here. So, I'll bring you to, you know what? Let's just completely, we don't need Roll20 at this point. I think it's just going to slow us down. I'll move us out of here. So yeah, you rush up the stairs, and you kind of get back into the main archway where you saw, where you were hiding away from Rahadin at first. That balcony, that overhang. You see Exathanter's room, and you don't see Rahadin right now, but just briefly, especially Casimir. But everybody hears this when you get to the kind of that main open chamber. You see the statue down below that hid the Arcanoloth. You get a faint scream in your minds, similar to when you first met Rahadin, where it was sounded like thousands of people, their last breaths. You sense that. You get a feel of that in your mind again, whether it's a lingering effect or a memory. That beats all of you, but you hear it and you see the exit straight ahead. I guess you see Robert down there too. You see Robert down there in the middle.
Yeah, I'll beckon him to follow us once we're getting out.
Okay. Are we escaping, everybody?
Are we leaving the Ember Temple?
Are we
I think
leaving?
so.
Did we
Okay.
find what we came to get?
Yes,
We came
we
for the
Well.
tome on Strahd. We found it, and we are free to go.
Unless
Irina-
y'all want to make dark gift deals.
It went so well the first time. Why not?
I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
could we have Robert reopen the door, just grab some gold, and then exit?
The
Let's
vampires
bring-
can get into that room.
let's have
And the
Camilla
golem.
go in there. She's quick, right?
I just put us out of. Oh no!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I
vampire.
put us out of grayscale. Whoops.
Oh,
The
shame on
vampires
me.
CPKS, and we're done with Grayscale.
Shame on me.
I think we're all gonna. I
Leave.
think we're all gonna leave. I don't know if any of us is greedy enough to stick around for some gold.
Yeah.
Now let's
and
boogie onwards.
Isn't one of us like severely injured? Like, isn't someone low on HP?
Rufus.
I'm very severely
Few of
injured.
us are, yeah.
And Irina is also
Irina.
not in great shape.
Right. Then yeah, it probably makes sense to go.
You book it out,
Not worse.
and you run up the steps. You get out to the frozen mountainside that you had to ascend to get here, and you realize how your lives were such danger in here. You forgot about now. You have a trek backwards through what is like I said, almost like frigid mountaintops. You put on cold weather clothes, the hoods that you got from Yevgeny and Zoldar, and you start to head backwards. Robert is still with you, Casimir. If you want him to carry Zoldar's body, I think he was doing that, right?
Yeah.
All right. And if anybody else has something they want to carry, he can do so. Maybe even Irina. It might be better for her because she's going to be very slow going because she can't even dash. So maybe Robert picks her up from here. All right. All right. Go ahead.
I want
Andrew.
to just where the Arcana loaf was. You said there was some kind of a feeling about it. Can we steal a backward glance at that as we leave?
Yeah, you can steal a look back. There isn't anything there. Like there's nothing there. But it's almost like when I said that you saw the statue where the Arcanoloth was. It wasn't that specific spot is what triggered it. It's kind of like entering into that main chamber where you saw Rahadin the first time. Just like
Okay.
getting into that room made you feel like his presence was maybe still there, or at the very least, it reminded you of it. So
I'll
now we're
ponder
into
that.
yeah. Hold on to that thought. Honestly, keep that in mind. You might end up meeting Rahadin at some other point in this game. So you're in the mountainside. At this point, I think we're just gonna, at this point, have more of a role play session here. Eventually, you're gonna have to stop and camp. Maybe you'll try to descend just a bit to get out of the snow. Maybe to get to a point where you can find a little cave or some place where you can make camp for the night. And there's probably a lot of questions, probably a lot of things that need to be resolved. So how do you want to find a place? What do you want to do in order to take a rest? Because I think all of you need one.
Is there? Do you say there was a cave nearby?
If you
Look.
want, you can make a group survival check. We could see if you could find something that will keep you warm for the night out of the elements.
Well, I could make one.
Go ahead. Everybody
I thought
give
it
me
was
one.
a group survival check.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
Give me one. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of you rolled pretty poorly. 10, 6, 10, 15. Casimir, we have you.
Repeat what I'm rolling for though.
Survival check.
To see if we can find some kind of like shelter
Okay.
as we leave the Ember Temple.
So it's not like my condition because I have that ring of warmth. If that matters for this.
Oh, you're totally fine. We're looking to find a place out of the cold, maybe a cave, a place where we could camp for the night. That would be good for the rest of them.
Okay. 13.
13. Let's see. So I think ultimately you're not going to find a place that's going to be ideal. Like you said, you might find a small little crevice in the mountainside that you can maybe from time to time take turns inside, but nothing here is going to be really eliminating the elements side of this. So we'll make a fire. we'll do our best to stay alive here, but we'll have to take some survival, some constitution checks throughout the night, or else we may end up taking some levels of exhaustion here, and the rest will
Can
not
I
be.
try to intervene a little bit?
Please do.
Casimir's real quiet, but seeing everyone struggling in the cold, he's gonna have his form suddenly like fatten up, much more rotund than Dione, and his bones start to crack, and he starts to grow hair, and he turns into a big woolly mammoth, and he wants to cradle everybody in his massive body for an hour.
Okay. Okay. So,
Polymorph.
yeah. I love it. Okay, good. So you know what? We'll eliminate some of the checks then. That'll be good. Instead of maybe having like 3 overnight, we'll do 2 overnight. This will keep everybody warm for a bit, and maybe because of this gesture that Casimir gives, we don't interrogate him right at the onset of the rest.
Maybe he just doesn't feel chatty, so he's just going to be a mammoth for a bit.
There we go. All right, everybody. 2 constitution checks throughout the night. Go ahead. If you pass both, we'll say you can have the full effects of a long rest.
Everybody should
DC is 10.
Everybody come close to me.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can add, I think, 2.
2? Got it. All right. So we look like we're getting Dione's passing, correct? Cool.
Laurent
Canas?
passed 1, failed the other.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, same for Dione. Pass 1 and fail the other.
Pass and a fail, yep.
What do we need to pass?
10?
10 to pass.
Oh, I passed 2.
2 above 10.
And Rufus is good, and Canas is good. So, Dione, you're going to take a level of exhaustion, and so is Laurent. Our rest rules are a little different than the main rulebook. It's not too different, but the biggest change is that with the long rest, you don't gain back all of your hit points. So you have to use your hit dice. At the end of the rest, you'll gain back half of your hit dice. So we're all level 6. So I don't know how many hit dice you have left, but at the end of the rest, you'd gain half of yours back. So roll those checks, Laurent and Dione. You get a level of exhaustion. All right. And obviously, Casimir, you don't need to. It's morning time, and the group is just kind of, I mean, groggy to say the least. But there's just a dour, note hanging over the air. Irina will be the first to maybe say something in the morning as the fire is lit, and maybe we're making food or, unwrapping rations. And she says to everyone, although last night was terrifying and many of us nearly died, and she looks at her hand, which is all bandaged up. She says, I believe this was fate. And she holds up the book, that tome of Strahd. She says, I've only begun to look at it, but I think this might be one of the keys towards defeating the devil himself. And she says, I think when we get back, we should spend some time poring through this text. If there's a clue, if there's a weakness, we have to find it and exploit it. Madame Eva told us this for a reason, and even though Casimir, and I thought about this quite a bit, to have maybe doubt in you, I don't. I know what it's like to have a love for a sibling. I'm hoping that I still will get to see mine. And I think all of us should continue to trust Casimir, knowing that this is a lesson learned. She looks to Casimir and to the group. You may speak.
I thought this destiny was because my sister was important. Maybe it's just me. I'm all you get.
Irina looks to Rufus maybe for some words because she sees how distraught Casimir is.
Rufus, he's a little teary actually.
Really?
He says, "I know what it is like to lose a sister, Casimir. I feel for you."
Thank you, Rufus. I'll tell you what happened.
What happened?
Patrina, I've not told you any lies about her, though I made a grave mistake. But it became clear that she had gained the favor of Strahd, and she was enjoying it. So I intervened with my people, and we surprised her, and we killed her.
You killed her?
Yes. Rather than her become some vampiric queen. She wouldn't deviate. And as punishment, Strahd sent Rahadin and his armies to kill all the women and children of the Dusk Elves and just leave us males ruined and rotting here in Barovia, knowing that our elven spirits would never move on to be reincarnated, that our children and our women are just disembodied souls in this land while we rot in the mud amongst the Vistani. My ears were removed to show my shame for not listening to Strahd and for knowing that he is the lord of this land. I thought that her disembodied soul had learned something, and I was racked with guilt. I wanted to believe that she had changed and that she would rise up, be with me again, and we could fight Strahd instead of her joining him. She was so convincing to me in my trances. And now I've only made things worse, but maybe this is good. Maybe it's meant to be. Maybe she will be a thorn in Strahd's side. Maybe it's an act, or maybe they'll never play well together because they're both too powerful and Strahd doesn't share power. I don't know how this will go, but
Well,
I'm going to need a little bit of time to figure this out.
Well, at least she's alive. Now maybe she has a chance to be redeemed. Maybe that's why it happened, so she could see the error of her ways.
Irina nods and is like, exactly. It all happened for a reason. The fortune teller told us.
What was the sacrifice?
I don't know.
It's true. He just was like, yes.
I appreciate all of you acting all kumbaya. But it seems that as a result of this, he had to sacrifice something he doesn't even know. And all we have done is gain another enemy. I do think that it is important to trust you, Casimir. But how are we to trust you when you clearly don't trust us? There has to be a change.
I have no choice but to trust you now. I have mistakes to mend. Many people like you come to Barovia. Most of them are not good, or if they are good, they're not good for long, because Strahd twists them before he kills them. I thought I could just use you. And then I was terrified of you, the way you executed Izek as a group. His story wasn't so different from mine, except he hadn't killed his sister.
Oh. Irina shudders.
And what of you, Rufus? Your blind faith in this man, and your disregard of what your allies that have been traveling longer with you.
Well, I do not. Casimir made his own decision. We could not stop him. He turned invisible when we were distracted by the vampires. If you remember, I pulled him away from the stone. But I think you have been saved. A great loss yourself. I think if it had been you and not Casimir, you would have suffered a great loss as he has.
I agree with you.
Or a great sadness.
That's why when I heard, I was tempted, as Casimir knows. The first thing that was asked of me, do I want the power to restore life? Yes, I do. But when a sacrifice was asked of, that is when I hesitated, and I walked away.
That is to your credit.
I think it is important for us to trust each other. I agree with that. We have been traveling companions for a long time. There is no way that a single one of us would survive alone in this place.
That is true. If the companionship is broken, then we cannot survive. But why are you so keen to restore life? What happened to you?
I lost my wife.
How?
My village was overrun by undead, and by the time I reached her, she was gone.
Gone?
Dead, mangled, destroyed. Beyond all recognition.
Well, perhaps that is why you have been brought to this place. You hate the undead.
More than anything.
And now you can strike a blow against them.
And yet, I find myself allied with one. And trusting one. Impeccably. I look at Dione. This is a strange place.
She's not undead.
Wait, a werewolf is not undead?
No.
Okay, never mind. Then I don't. Can I wreck on that?
Strike that. It'll be stricken from the records. Canas did not call Dione a filthy undead creature.
Thank you.
Stricken.
We must stick together now. Strahd wants to tear us apart. He wants to destroy us from the inside before destroying us from the outside. You see how things have been. He's interested in toying with us. I feel he could have killed us many times already. We must be mentally strong and stick together.
Camilla, who maybe just wakes up or has been like kind of still in her bedroll, she maybe not have been such an important part of this conversation at this point, but she does kind of walk up to the group and she says, you know, I think sticking together is the right thing to do. We're going to go back to Casimir's hovel. We're going to get my sister. And then we're going to figure out how to beat Strahd. She seems very like gung-ho right now. High optimism. And she says, and I'm going to make sure that we get this job done. I'm going to be with you to the very end.
And you see, we have been a force for good here. We have saved Anna, her sister.
Mm-hmm. We should probably check back on Valaki. who knows what kind of state it's in.
Well, first we must recover our strength.
Of course.
Devil's
Will we
Strahd
be
was
welcome? Will we even be welcome back in Vallaki?
Only one way to find out, she says.
I am not keen to go back to Vallaki.
Well, we have to. Anna's there.
Well, I thought that we left Anna with the Dusk Elves,
Yeah,
we
they're
can't
right
outside.
outside. Yeah, they're right outside of.
not within the city walls.
We can't
No.
leave her there forever.
That's correct.
I would like to try this other city I've heard of. I forget its name.
Kresk.
Was it exactly?
I too am very interested in the city of Kresk.
Then Kresk it is, she says. And Irina nods in with all of you. Together. And Irina puts in her bandaged hand for a team cheer. You can put in your weapon or your sword or whatever. She puts in her hand.
Rufus puts in his hand on top of her hand.
She's like, ow! Just kidding.
Canas puts his hand in.
Ron will put his hand in too.
Ione sighs and hesitates. Looks at Casimir. Together. And then she puts her hand in as well.
It's all on you,
I'll
Casimir.
raise my hand and put my mage hand in.
That's
And
a
then
cop out.
He's
Fine.
a mammoth, no,
I'll
isn't
step
he?
forward and put my actual hand in.
His trunk. Okay.
One
so,
massive furry woolly mammoth paw.
So at this point, we will conclude the session. You travel back. It's going to take, like we said, I think it took at least 3 or 4 days to get here with Zoldar. So it might take you even longer to get back, but we're not going to role play that out. We will be back next week. Sorry, 2 weeks. from now.
Wait, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
During the rest, I'd like to attempt to resummon Yune.
Ooh, you want to resummon Yune, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll find out next week.
Place to start. Yeah,
We'll find out next week. So just a quick update on the schedule. What a great session, everybody. And Jordan, really great role play from you. And I love the play between you and Canas when you run at the sarcophagus. The conflict between, of course, Rufus and you as well, especially trying to be the leader and make the right decision. Really good role play all around by everybody, honestly. Thank you for being here. So get that out of the way. First and foremost, you were awesome.
Yeah, that was heaps of fun. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And keep that inspiration handy because I have a feeling you'll be back.
Okay.
I have a feeling you'll be back. So for everybody else, here's how it's going to work. This was kind of like the end of the continuation of the Amber Temple from Season 1. Season 2 properly is going to get underway. Of course, this is Episode 1, but Episode 2 might feel a little different. We might be in a different locale. We're going to talk about some downtime that we take in between now and next session. We're going to be discussing that kind of off stream, and then when we get back, we'll talk about some aspects of the downtime, maybe role play some of that out, and then jump into the next leg of this campaign, wherever that may take us. Now, we are going to be back in 2 weeks. Strahd is going to be doing, because we have a lot going on here on the channel. I've got a lot of stuff going on, off-channel stuff as well. So we're going to be doing every other week, which I know kind of is we really want to get right into it, but it's going to help me out quite a bit, especially with Vecna going every week. So we're going to do every other week for Strahd, so every other week until we get past the holidays. So in January, we'll be starting back up with the every week ritual, let's say. So we're going to be doing that up until January. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being back for Season 2. The live chat was awesome tonight. Glad to have you back. Felt like we were back home in the grayscale. But until then, we will see you all on the tabletop. Have a great night, everybody.